Aloha, ha, 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 ha. Yes, it is that moment. That question that's just been lingering out there. Whether I would, could, can, or will, and yes. Here it comes. Tiny bubble in the wine makes me happy, makes me feel fine. Tiny bubbles makes me warm all over with the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. Here's to the golden moon, here's to the silver sea. Mostly here's a toast to you and me. Tiny bubbles in the wine makes me happy, makes me feel fine. Tiny bubbles makes me warm all over with the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. Here's to the ginger lady I give to you today. But here's a kiss that will not fade away. Tiny bubbles in the wine makes me happy, makes me feel fine. Tiny bubbles makes me warm all over with the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. Kind of screwed that up right there at the end. Yep. Great tune. Don Ho, a true giant of American culture, if not music. Although he was, it's just a lost era, a missed era, an era of innocence. See, that guy has probably kissed more women than he's up there on the list of just good time kissing. And I don't know of any sordid tales of Don Ho. He seemed to be a good guy. I did a little investigation several years ago, beginning of the thing there. I don't even know if you can say it like as a reference for time, like at the beginning of that thing. But I got all into Don Ho, and did you know he got a football scholarship to play football at and I've forgotten some of the details. I think it was like Holy Cross. That sounds wrong. Somewhere way out east though, on the East Coast. Might have even been Yale. And he only stayed a year, and then I think he went into the Air Force. He was a pilot in the Air Force. But he seemed like a genuinely good dude. And I think he has some of his relatives are actually, nephews or great nephews or something, are Mason Ho, maybe a surfer today that has a relation to him. And but he just started out, he played the organ / piano, I guess, at his mom's Honey's in Kaneohe, I believe, which is on the leeward side of Hawaii, which is over Oahu, which is over on the side where the Magnum PI house. And again, if you have any more details on this, I spent some time in Hawaii, in Oahu mostly, in Kauai, but over at Waimanalo, Kaneohe, I believe, are on that side there, the leeward side. And then, of course, he, kind of settled into Waikiki. And he was there just many years. He was seemed to be just a good, I think we're all, especially those of us who didn't get to experience it so much, although I bet I had a little more kind of the tail end of the age of innocence of America and growing up, pre-cell phone and all that shit. And it just seemed like a great time, and his famous line was "suck 'em up." That was what he'd say to drink. Suck 'em up, suck 'em up, suck 'em up. He had a song, "Suck 'em up." That's good shit, guys. And he'd say "gang," "hey gang," which I try and incorporate when I can. All right, gang, everybody's got, one paddle, two paddle, three to carry me home. I don't have all the words down yet, but good stuff. But this, I do want to touch back on the last video I talked about the BS of making claims of cultural appropriation. And I think this falls squarely into that. Like when I do this every video, am I unable to do that because I'm not Hawaiian? Or, where do you draw the line and who gets to be the line drawer? So I did a little research, and I meant to put this in the last video, but it still almost went 20 minutes. But I was like, what's a good thing to research to talk about this? So you know what I decided on? Pants. I'm wearing shorts at the moment. I was going to say I could be wearing no pants at all, but I actually guess you would see that. But, so pants. So I Googled, which is a whole other thing. I don't know if you're aware of what's going on with them, where they won't show white people if you ask this new AI shit to, they got black people as Nazis and stuff. It's just great. But, pants were invented or first appear in the fossil record in 13th to 10th century BC in China. So, if you're all into pissing about cultural appropriation, take your pants off and don't put them on unless you're Chinese. That's it. You don't have any right. You're not Chinese. Take your friggin' pants off. And do not even think about putting them on because you don't have the right unless you're Chinese. Yeah, pretty stupid, isn't it? And I think that's a good thing to show that. And again, there's a difference between saying I think you suck, your movie, your poem, your song, your singing, or I even disagree with your opinion. But there's a difference between an opinion and being so arrogant and just hateful to be like, you don't have any right to do this, or do rap music if you're a white person, and shit like that. And this is a big thing. This leaks into just about everything, I think, and is seeping into every segment of something that nobody has the right to opine about. Look, man, some people don't want their children being exposed to talk about sexual subjects when they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, especially by a stranger. And I guess that does go beyond opinion, because if you want to handle that shit at your own home, whatever. But enough of this expert the BS with the expert stuff, this expert class. It's like the BS of our president's wife getting the title doctor. She ain't a fucking doctor. She's got a doctor of BS psychology or something. That's bullshit, is what that is. That's what that stands for. Bullshit. And it's all just so that you can put doctor, and that's all it is. So I can stick my nose up in the air. I don't know if you're familiar with Thomas Sowell. He's an economist. He's like 94 years old. But he called BS on a lot of this cultural shit. And he's a black man, and he's just incredibly smart and refreshingly no nonsense. And he says, and I think this is a good statement to kind of covers a lot of subjects, but the biggest thing about getting a degree from Harvard is that you don't have to endure the condescension of somebody with a Harvard degree. And that's all it is, man. You know, especially nowadays, these people are just the children of privilege and people with money. And they don't care, and all this shit about them rallying for this cause or the other, they don't give a shit, man. It's just a different kind of resume they build. I protested this, and I have the right, and then there's other people who just get involved because it allows them to do stuff, and God, it's easy to get sidetracked. This went from such a nice, innocent video of singing Tiny Bubbles to some heavy shit, man. But it's just a drag. And I'll tell you, that thing with Google, I would say that if you have any opportunity to not use Google and to change your search engine, not that the next one, and just really research it, time to get that out of our culture, man. They need to pay a price. Because you can't even say like the guy in charge of that division is responsible. They let that get out there. And here's the problem with this march towards AI. It's being programmed by people that you don't want to program. So I would just recommend, there ain't no going down this track of getting involved with all this BS with technology. I mean, I love the phone. I'm talking on a microphone and all this shit, you know, but doesn't need to keep going, you know? Where's it going? And it's getting sidetracked by this. This idea that there shouldn't be borders and all this crap, and I don't know if I'm jumping around too much here. It does feel like it's kind of down the same little track, but you have like Parmesan cheese. That for whatever reason, that always comes into my mind when I think about the importance of having distinct cultures. You just want to have a mishmash of people living in Italy where people just live there, and there's no tradition of like Parmesan cheese being created in the home base of, where that came from in Italy, which I don't know if it's a town called Parma or what. But you know what I'm saying? It's not anti-anything, but these things have developed over centuries, and there's distinctness about each of our cultures that I think are worth preserving. I don't think there's anything wrong with adopting parts of a culture you like and stuff, but I do think it's important to allow cultures to remain distinct, You can go and visit them and go tour like Amish territory in Pennsylvania and see how they live, but it doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to live their distinct cultures because it might be offensive to some fucking jerk who doesn't live there and just knows about it and doesn't even have any connection to it or being around it, Or like these people, I don't know if I jumped around too much. I got shit to say. And I got opinions. And I think if you don't have opinions and offer them and be able to defend them, you're dull and uninteresting. Trying to get along, that's a big thing for me, man. If you're trying to get along with everybody, you're probably a really dull and uninteresting person, I got the right to offend you, and I'm not trying to offend, but I'm going to stand by what I believe and talk about it. But remember, in the immortal words of Boutros Ghali, Only stupid people don't change their mind. We all can fall back on that. But it should come from the heart when you make an opinion, offer an opinion, and when you decide to change your mind about an opinion. Hang loose.